Here's an old man's perspective. Now, I guess the politically correct title probably should have been senior citizen's perspective. But I became a senior citizen almost 30 years ago, and I'm tired of that title. In my case, old man is more accurate anyway and more descriptive. Now, here are a few observations by an old man from 30,000 feet. I have memories of rationing during World War II. I played in football helmets without face bars, let alone without a face mask, and attended Ole Miss football games when the correct attire worn by the male students was coat and tie. To give you a little perspective of the events and circumstances I've experienced during this lifetime. I remember white and colored signs on water fountains and restrooms when most folks accepted that condition as normal, even though we knew it did not make sense. Black families were seen to be more cohesive and solid than white families by most folks, and in 1965, 24% of black births were to unwed mothers. By 1990, that 24% had risen to 64%. The corresponding numbers for white mothers were 3.1% and 18%. I don't know what they are now. I guess the percentages are higher. Our nation it just seems more coarse to me. Politics are more vicious. Crime is rampant. Corruption is acceptable in government. Truth is questionable in much major media reporting. Public schools graduate illiterate kids. Profanity permeates the airwaves. Re-election often outranks good policy judgment. Our borders may as well be non-existent. Our elections are not honest. Our leaders seem bent on spending the country into bankruptcy. The White House occupants exhibit all the planning and activities one might expect from a merger of Keystone Cops and the Three Stooges, and Congress isn't much better. Neither the State Department, the Department of Defense, or the whining Joint Chiefs of Staff who powder puff the nation's fighting training with pastel-colored activities such as mandatory classes on critical race theory and inane attention to sexual concerns. Well, I served in the military about 60 years ago under officers who'd been in combat and viewed their roles as protectors of this country. The good ones I knew did not aspire to wearing 4 stars, which currently enable the 4-star wearers to enter the swamp of lackeys to politicians. I was in the field artillery, and the role of the artillery would best be described by our current big brass to support the infantry. Well, that scrubbed clean description sounds better than our real mission, which we viewed as to kill the bad people and break their things. And there's a difference. I'm encouraged that a number of young men and women who have served in the military are currently serving in the Congress or running for those offices. I value their continued commitment to serve in whatever party they choose and believe that their experiences and leadership and mission performance mindset will be a valuable asset to our country. Okay, so we have some serious problems. 'Twas always thus. The Continental Army suffered awful defeats at the beginning of our Revolution. So did the Union Army at the start of the Civil War. So did our country in the Pacific theater of World War II. And by the way, did you know that on February the 23rd, 1942, right after that war with Japan started, a Japanese submarine shelled an oil refinery near Santa Barbara, California? Things look grim in all of these times. But our people always rallied, as I think we will now. It'll take some effort, strong, capable leadership, and the common sense voice of our core population, which outnumbers the troublesome fringe crowds by far. I hope to talk next week about some of my thoughts on solutions to some of these things, and maybe bring up a few problems I left out here. But in the meantime, I'd really appreciate your comments on ideas and resolutions. And I can take criticism too. So don't hold back. I'm Jim Ritchie. I'll see you again next time.